I commit my life for this. I surrender my life totally at the feet of the Lord. And I take Sharana. I take the refuge in this way. So I offered. And the Lord, you may give me any punishment, you may banish me, I am prepared for it. The king was so moved. He said, my dear, you are a great man. So he had dismissed his wife anyway. So he said, today I am going to honor you, my dear, but before, let me go and worship the master myself. You be here in the palace. So the road was right in front of the palace only, not very far. So the king told all these people, come on, let's all go and share the merit. And let's offer dana. And he ordered, come on, prepare for the dana for the Bhikkhu Sangha. Anyhow, in his house, every day, some 2,000 monks used to come. So here there were only about 500. So he went quickly with these men and stood before the road, and there the Lord in all his grace, in all his majesty, he was coming. In slowly, in serene, very serenely, with that flower canopy around on his head, and the flower curtain all around, and the 6 colors rays absolutely blazing. You see, the lights, such a marvelous sight and so inspiring indeed. The king fell at his feet and bowed down there. So as the master came, the king went and bowed down again and said, Lord, may I have the privilege of offering dana. So the Buddha gave his bowl to him in his hand. So the monks too followed. So they all entered the compound of the palace in the forecourt. The Lord stood there. He said, no, I am not entering. I mean, he indicated that he is not entering the palace. He just wants to stand here to benefit the people also. So the king said, Lord, I have arranged for everybody. So he said, no, Buddha stood there. So Ananda Bhante said, no, you arrange here. So the king ordered quickly, you see the seats were prepared and everything made, all the things were brought, and a dana was offered, and the Buddha received the dana, alms meal. All the monks sat down and took, you see, perfect mindfulness, satipatthana. The Buddha took the dana, and then the king had arranged packets to feed these people. And he told the people that this dana is offered in their honor, that they have honored the Lord, and Sumana's name. So the people received all that, and they all sat down around, and they watched the Bhagavan and the bhikkhus. Once they finished the meal, their bowls were taken away by devotees and washed and brought. And the Buddha sat down. Immediately it was a routine thing for him that every day when he received any dana, the first thing he did was to give a Dhamma desana, a discourse. You see, he received food for the body, and he gave in abundance food for his mind and the spiritual progress, for the spiritual progress of the people. So people heard and were so inspired by the sheer wonderful discourse of the Lord and so on. And thereafter, the Lord got up, and once he got up, you see, this flower curtain and this thing, whole thing just stood there without falling. Another miraculous look. Here is an inanimate object called just flower, matter, and that stood as though it had life, as though it was animate creature. So the Buddha, as he went, again the flower thing just over him, it came, and the Bhikkhu Sangha followed, and the Buddha went to the Veluvana, and all the people going, as usual. And the same thing, frenzied, in praise of the Lord. And the king was so very moved indeed, profoundly. He also followed up to a distance. And then came the Buddha, once he reached the Veluvana monastery, the monks also stood there. Then the Buddha went into his cottage. And as far as the cottage, this flower thing went along with the Buddha. And when the Buddha, right in front of the cottage, the kuti, Kanda kuti, now as the Buddha stood there to enter into the kuti, the flower dropped, just dropped. And the whole core, you see, that yard became white, absolutely, the flower, wonderful sight. So these people have been watching, they all came running and collected the flower very quietly without any disturbance, no noise, nothing. And people took it as a kind of great blessing, you see, the flowers and took home. And they preserved the flower for years together, as though it had, you see, as a kind of an object, a spiritual object to inspire them, to remind them of the glory, sheer glory of the Master, glory of the Buddha's spiritual might, the teacher of gods and men. So to worship such itself is the greatest fortune, and so on. So now, it is, you see, it will be worthwhile to examine what these colors stand for. These colors stand for what is called the Buddha quality of Vijjacharana Sampanno. That is, Buddha is the very embodiment of the highest transcendental wisdom and insight knowledge and power, supernormal power and virtue. With Vijja means knowledge and wisdom and the power, and Acharana means this supernormal powers and wisdom and virtue, which boils down to Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Buddha is the very embodiment of these great spiritual qualities, and his teaching is nothing but these three, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So, now, here the Buddha is surrounded by the yellow, you see the blue stands for the Buddha's Panya, the omniscient knowledge of the Buddha, the Panya Chakra. With his omniscient knowledge, he knows everything of the past, everything of the future, everything of the present. Every being, their minds, their potential, their good and bad potential, everything. And that is how he helped beings. And the yellow stands for purity of the mind, born of Samadhi. And the red, that is the red stands for power, supernormal power, psychic power, moral power, intellectual power, everything that we can think of in the name of power. The white stands for merit, punya. The Buddha was the most punyavanta, the most fortunate. I mean, nobody has a greater fortune than the Buddha. And he had developed all these through his paramis, through his development of spiritual perfections. So, the white stands for the punya, the wealth, prosperity. This is the very opposite of deprivation, poverty. And then the next is orange color. It stands for what is called Sangvara. You see, the the strength of self-mastery, self-restraint, self-control. And so while the blue is Panya, the yellow is Samadhi, and the other three, red, white, and you see the orange color, these three stand for Shila. Now Shila, virtuous life, is not just code of conduct, but it is a very wide field, for instance, of self-restraint, not only by undertaking so many precepts, Panchashila, Ashtashila, Dasashila, or the Bhikkhu 227 Sikkhapada and so on, or the 75 Sekhya Dhamma. Not only that, but much more. Now, for instance, the restraint by way of Indriya Samvara Sila, where control over all the fivefold senses. Then, like that, there are four of them, you see. All that covers everything in life. So whatever, all that you receive through your senses, there if you receive whatever you see or hear or you smell or taste as you eat and so on, if you do it with mindfulness, mindfulness is the Sila component there. Similarly, whatever the day-to-day necessities of life, clothes, to hide your shame and to have, you see, to protect yourself from the nature's vagaries, and food, and a dwelling, and the medicaments. All these are day-to-day necessities of life, and they are also for part of the Sila Samvara in the sense that you take them with patisankha yoniso, with wisdom, wisely reflecting patipindapatang patisevami. I accept or I you see, take my pindapata, alms meal and so on. Similarly, the robe. So what the monks do, the same thing with the lay people. So whatever you use it with wisdom, with knowledge. Why? You are not using your clothes to show off to people and increase your egotism and prolong your samsaric existence. No. You use your clothing to, first of all, to hide, to be decent. The human body is hideous. There's nothing attractive in it. So, to become decent and presentable, you put on a dress. And similarly, from the nature's inclemency, you protect yourself. Or a house, not to show off to other people how much money you have got and whether it's illegally got or with bad money, that with corruption and all that. No. You live there because you have to live, and in a decent way, so that you make life itself a means for attainment of enlightenment. So like that, Sila covers every aspect of life. It's a very profound subject and I don't want to go into it, very little time is there. And so now, the Sila has these three aspects, basically. One is the aspect of moral power. If you keep to Sila, come what may, but you stick to your Panchashila, let us say, the very basic thing that you require. Now when the people praised the Buddha and they were doing all that, why? They saw, my goodness, human beings are used to violence, killing each other, used to robbery, stealing and grabbing others' things, used to immoral living, used to all kinds of evil way of living. Now when the Buddhas appeared, they changed the entire scenery. The entire civilization changes. The Buddhas introduced the Panchashila as the basic minimum for spiritual development as well as success for material living. You don't become a rich man only by grabbing somebody's property or money and all that. So, no. You need virtue for that. You may grab you see, money, but you may lose also. But if you are a very, you see, good upasaka and upasika, you maintain the Panchashila, you never lose what you gain. Just share the fact that you don't break any of those. You don't kill, you don't steal, you don't commit sexual misconduct, you don't tell lies, you don't drink alcoholic drinks and so on. Now, just by abstaining, you are developing a form of karma, a karmic pattern you are creating within yourself, that you can never be born in a lower plane of existence. You cannot be born as an animal. You cannot be born as a ghost. You cannot be born as a demoniac asura. You cannot be born in the hell. Niraya, Naraka. Just by following this, the Buddha's grace should be understood there. He saves you just by this to fall to these plains of great misery and unmitigated suffering indeed. You are bound to be born in the plane of human beings where there is both happiness and misery, where there is both moral living and immoral living, good, bad, both. And you have a choice. As a human being, you can go further and further. You can live not only Panchashila, you don't break them, but you practice in a much more refined manner, in the sense that you practice the opposite of killing, which means saving life. You are not satisfied by only not killing, but you save life. You protect life in 100 different ways. A man is suffering, sickness. Go out of the way, do something and help him out. So in 100 different ways you can practice the opposite virtue. That is Sila. Now when you practice the opposite virtue, you are no longer that you will be guaranteed that you will be born a human being. You will be born in the Devaloka. You can be born as a divine being, enjoying great bliss, great prosperity, great this thing, and represented by the white. Punyavanta, great punya, meritorious. Through your meritorious deed, you are reborn in the world of merit, Devaloka. And if you have used your power, intellectual power, your money power, your this power, that power, all for the good of the world, you'll be born in the world of creativity, Nimmanarati, Paranimita Vasavati. That is, these are the worlds